Hi, this is James from the Zero Authority DAO. We're here today with Neoswap, specifically John Innes. So thank you for being on today, John. How are you?
Yeah, good, James. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, we're diving in to learn more about you guys, the team, Neoswap. For those that are unfamiliar, just give us a quick little background on you and your where you come from and your skills and talents.
Sure. Okay. Well, I'm a mathematician. I have my PhD in math. I did my postdoc in computational neuroscience, and then I became a market research consultant. So I was market research. I've been a market research consultant for 15 years. 3.5 years ago, I started a different company called Igora, which does AI services for food and beverage companies. That's a successful company. That is, I think we in June we'll have 15 employees. So that's doing fine. But I've been working on this problem my whole life. That really is what NeoSwap represents of finding the best multi-way trades in a group. And I can, maybe James, the best thing to do is if I just show an output here and talk about what does NeoSwap do, and then we can maybe do a demo and explain it. I can show a trade that we just did, like we did a party 6 minutes ago, it ended, and I can show this out. Is that okay if I share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
There we go. Okay, great. So here's a trade. And this was just a few minutes ago. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people got together. And in one of these parties that we throw, we all listed our items that we wanted to sell or trade. We set prices. We bid on other people's items. We set our budget. And NeoSwap finds that this is the best trade for the group. And you can see there's really no way we would ever figure this out by hand. It just wouldn't happen. We could talk to each other forever in Discord, and we would never find out that was the best trade. And I got interested in that problem when I was a child. When I was 12, my parents started to do this kind of strange thing where they would buy all the Christmas presents for the kids. And I think my dad did this because he's a mathematical psychologist and he wanted to do like a social science experiment with his own children. He's a kind of strange but famous scientist. And so he was interested in just doing this experiment. So they would buy all the Christmas presents and wrap them up, put them in a box labeled surprise. And then on Christmas Day, we would have to take presents at random. Actually, it's funny. It's a lot like an NFT mint where you get an item at random. We get these presents at random, unwrap them, and then we'd have to trade them with each other. Okay. And the thing is, sometimes, you'd find interesting trades, three-way trades or whatever. But, sometimes you would just get stuck with items you didn't want. And so I remember on Christmas Day when I was 12, there was a situation where I got stuck with this doll that I didn't want. And so I was trying to figure out a trade with me and my 3 brothers and sisters so I could get rid of this doll and get something I wanted. And it just didn't happen. So I worked on that and didn't find a solution. But as I got older, my math skills got better. In 2017, I came up with the first version of what we now call the Neoswap or NS algorithm, which is, it turns out, an algorithm from the field of the field of neobarter, which is a subfield of economics, which is concerned with this problem. How do you do barter? Which is kind of the oldest form of commerce. How do you do barter? But you have currency allowed, and you have technology help facilitate these trades. So they're great when you have low liquidity items like NFTs, and especially good when there's no clear market value. There's just gaps where I have something maybe I don't want, and you really want it, and you have something that maybe you don't really want, but Zero really wants it, and Zero has something that he doesn't really want, but I really want it. We can work out a trade, and we can all benefit. So that's what NeoSwap is about. And we're really excited about it because not only do we have these fun parties, we have a second stage coming where we're going to start, now that people have been in the parties, we can start to propose trades offline. And we can just start help move all the NFTs around the ecosystem. So they move from the places where they're less wanted to the places where they're more wanted and make the whole NFT ecosystem a lot more efficient.
Yeah, I can. One of the things that a lot of NFT projects, I know they have a pain point where they after a mint happens or things like that, there's just a massive amount of trading, and so sometimes it can affect people's sentiment of projects, and people are trying to figure out, okay, what can I do to get the ones I really want? Do I really have something I really like? And when you have all these parties involved, it is hard to figure out what is a good value, how do I obtain something, and then you have to have the other party willing to accept, right? And so,
Right.
but not only just with NFTs, but this technology can be applied to a lot of other economic systems as well that you could see probably develop on the blockchain.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, first off, in the real world, there's an enormous amount of waste, right? That 50%, I don't know if you know this or not, but 50% of the items that go into thrift stores never get used again, right? They go in there, they get recycled, or they get thrown away, but they don't ever end up going back out the door, and get used again. So if we could get this technology to be used where everybody could list all the items in their house, and once a week there's some sort of a party in your neighborhood and all the, or dorm room floor or whatever it is, where items move around, then that would be a huge boon to the economy. The trouble is there's tons of friction, and people have tried to do barter. I don't think anyone has done anything quite as sophisticated as Neoswap in the real world, but even still, just regular barter, it's failed because there's too much friction. And Neoswap would have some of the same challenges as well. With NFTs, though, it's very pure. And we can do a demo for you in a minute. We can bring people together. Because of Web3, people have their items with them, right? You don't have to have some centralized database. People just bring their items. We do the exchange. And once we know what the best trade is, we write the smart contract. Once everybody signs the contract, then that's it. The ownership reassigns. There's no having to physically give somebody an item like the real world. So our kind of roadmap is start with NFTs, where it's super clean. Because you think about what a blockchain is. It's like in the blockchain, you have this publicly verifiable digital ownership, right? And ideally, it's permissionless, where you can transfer ownership of items without a trusted third party. So it's a very, very pure, abstract form of ownership. So an NFT kind of represents the most pure form of ownership of non-fungible assets that you can have. So what we're doing is really well suited to NFTs and blockchain. Now, you can go out a little bit still with low friction to the digital world, not on blockchain, but maybe you have a video game where there's markets. It's very common that there's a market inside a video game. And we can partner with video games to help move items around. You can bring, gamers can come together inside the game and work out a trade using our trade finding algorithms, and then reassign the ownership. That could just happen on the centralized database. And then finally go out into the real world. And so our view is, like, what we really care about is efficiency in the real world. There's potentially a huge, either much better use of resources or a big expansion of the global GDP just waiting to happen from all these used items actually being used again, right? The recirculation. That's what we care about. But we can't, if we start there, it's going to be too hard. So we're starting with NFTs, then we'll go digital, then we'll go out to the physical world. And hopefully by the time we get to the physical world, there'll be enough people who have been doing Neoswap either with their favorite NFT projects or maybe in games, that then they'll say, okay, this is worth doing. They'll put the effort in, and we'll see this big value unlock for the real world. And you have a big improvement of sustainability.
Yeah, it's awesome to hear. You're not only thinking out maybe a year or two, you're thinking about how this can really be impactful in decades to come. And so for those looking outside at this project, I would say that's something that I'd love to see in builders, is that they're thinking very long term, and how much of an impact that this can have.
Yeah.
Speaking of all of that, for the people that are tuning in, what you have live right now is you can get into these parties and trade NFTs currently, right? That's live. You guys are having these parties right now. So
yeah, why don't we do a really quick demo if that works for you? I can get Hamza and Kuba, our other two co-founders, in, and it'll take about 3 minutes maybe, and we'll just do a demo. Does that work for you?
Sure.
Okay. Let me tell them to hop on. So let me grab this. Yeah, I would say, James, that these ideas are incredibly important. That obviously, like, there's a lot of talk about carbon dioxide, carbon emissions, but when you think about the world and its problems, that's just one of, like, many. The big problem is the inefficient use of resources. And even if we solve carbon dioxide, you still have way too much fertilizer going off in the wastewater, and you don't have enough fish in the ocean, and you have all these problems with efficiency. So by recirculating goods and changing our economy to be an economy that's more interested in durable goods, that'll be a big benefit. So it's not, I feel like there's a vision here that's much bigger than NFTs. And that's one of the challenges for me, trying to pitch this idea to investors, or to even just explain it to other people, is, yes, it's great for NFTs. However, there's this big, big vision. And how do we simultaneously get that vision understood while still having a business that people can invest in? You understand what I mean? There's like a tension there in terms of
and I think one of those things too is, if it's primarily people that are in crypto, I think people in crypto kind of understand that more things will become NFTs in the future that provide utility, gated access to physical world sort of things. And so the more things that get represented by NFTs, you'll have a more efficient process in trading those.
That's right. And that becomes a selling point for blockchain, right? Look, just right now, we're trying to get paid. My other company's getting paid from Europe. It's an enormous hassle to get paid from Europe, right? And blockchain really solves that problem. Blockchain solves a lot of problems. If we can get ownership of real world items, especially when you think about all the functionality that NFTs can have, where it's not just static ownership, but you can have dynamic ownership recorded on the blockchain, then suddenly the economy becomes a lot more efficient. Then you bring neobarter into the mix and you can do trade with minimal currency, right? Then it's another big value unlock. So I think we got Kuba on the call here. Hamza should be joining in just a second. Let's take you through a little demo. There's Kuba. Hey, Kuba, how you doing?
Hey, Kuba.
We might note that.
How are you?
Kuba's got the Stacks Accelerator background. So Stacks Accelerator is now Stacks Ventures, FYI for everybody. All right, so here we go. We're in a Neoswap party. And we're going to do a little demo for you. And I think Hamza's in this room as well. Now, I should say that investors do still get the benefit of Neoswap. We closed our pre-seed round, 500,000, and we'll be opening our seed round sometime in June. So it's not like nobody gets it, but it is definitely a challenge because sometimes, you have to decide what level are we going to be talking at? Are we talking at the level of what you're seeing here, an app for trading NFTs, which is already very good? Or are you talking about a big thing that's going to change the world? And it's sometimes hard to have those two conversations at the same time. Okay, so here we are. This is our little demo. And I think Hamza is, Kuba, can you just chat with Hamza and Hamza is our CXO, Kuba is our CTO. Kuba is the head of AI of my other company as well. And Hamza is the director of technology. The three of us will be stepping away from Igora, my other company, on July 1st to go work full time on Neoswap. Okay, and Hamza says he's in the waiting room. If you can let him in, please, James.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I'll just tell you what's happening here. There's Hamza. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So here I can pick NFTs for my wallet. So this is, standard Web3 dApp where you connect your wallet, and I can pick my NFTs. So let's pick the NFTs that I want to sell or trade today. Let's see. Let's pick. My friend Shudu made these art. They're really nice. My friend Anibal made these art. Okay, so I'm going to pick the items that I'm open to selling or trading today. I'll keep that one. Okay, there we go. So these items the prices get pre-populated with the floor price of the collection. If you want, you can adjust it to be half the floor, 75%, 100%. Now, you don't have to worry about, because this is over the counter, you don't have to worry about hurting the floor price of a collection. You can sell below the floor and there's no, really public record of that might hurt the collection. Let me go ahead and put this in at 20. Okay, otherwise I'm just going to sell at the floor here. So I'm saving that. Kuba and Hamza are doing the same thing. Hamza, do you want to put your camera on? Do you have your, here comes Hamza. Hamza, can you swap background up?
Hey, Hamza.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, Hamza's our CX. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Oh, and I'm going to set my budget here. The idea of the budget is I'm going to sell some items, I'm going to buy some items, and if there's a difference, I'll have to pay it. But no matter what happens, my difference won't exceed my budget. So there we go. Just going to refresh this page really quickly. Okay. Oh, I see the problem. The problem was I hadn't set that price. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, take out the Nandi sisters because that one Shudo has burned it. So.
Oh, I see. Okay. Then let me put back in that last day's central bank. We can only hope. Okay. All right. Why is this not advancing? Of course, this would happen when we've done like 20 of these trades recently. Why is it not advancing? Is it?
I think it was because of the of that NFT. It was
Okay, we're fine. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to see all of Hamza and Kuba's NFTs that they have decided to sell or trade today. So here we go. All right, so I can go through here. That's nice. Like you see the price here. You see the floor price.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. All right, here we go. So I'm just going to go ahead and bid at the, well, let's say I like this. I'm going to increase the bid. And Hamza and Kuba are doing the same thing. And there's my budget. So as soon as they're done, what's going to happen is we're going to find a trade that's good for all of us.
Yeah, I have to say that the UI UX is really well done. This is a really polished product already.
Oh, thank you. It's Hamza and Kuba. Hamza is like a 10x developer for sure. I mean, there's not. Hamza's the sort of person that you give him a problem to solve. He makes a dashboard that generates code that solves the whole thing problems. So, okay. So let me zoom in here so you can see. Yeah, we made a very small change to the UX a minute ago that made these small. You'll see in the GIF in just a second. So the idea here is that I'm getting, I got these NFTs I wanted. Actually, this is great. How did this happen? So, oh, it's because I sold an expensive NFT. So I sold 4 NFTs. I got 5 and 11 stacks. And then you'll see the GIF here in a second. And then assuming that we all like the trade, so I like that trade. Assuming we all like the trade, we can write the smart contract. And there we go. And let me save this to my desktop. And then we take a look at it. Okay, so there. So that was a trade that benefited all of us. For me, how was it for you, Kuba and Hamza?
It was
For me,
good.
it was very good actually, because I was aiming for one of the NFTs and I got it.
Yeah, it's amazing how it always works. Okay, so anyway, and there we go. Look, Neoswap made money too. Yeah, so that's the idea of that. So Hamza and Kuba, I know you want to go back to coding. If you want to drop off, I can wrap up the call. So
yeah, thank you guys for coming in.
Very welcome. Yeah, thank you.
you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
yeah, so that's what happens. And then as we collect, now what we're doing, that's the first stage, getting people into parties to do these trades. So you can invite your friends. You can work out these trades. You could even just be in Discord. And we're working on a kind of I would say partnership or a kind of joint venture with, well, joint venture is not exactly the right term, but we're working on a collaboration with friends. I think you had Drew on the show, maybe not too long ago. I think I saw one of his clips.
Yeah,
yeah. So we're working on a collaboration there where you'll be able to be in Discord, do /Neoswap, because you can be talking with a few people in Discord trying to work out a trade. And you say, let's just Neoswap it and do the /Neoswap, create a room. Everybody that's there can go into the room and you can very quickly work out a trade that benefits everyone instead of all that haggling back and forth. Well, I'll give you this. What do you think about that? This stuff can take forever. And at the end of the day, you won't get, this is a mathematically optimal trade. So if you've got 3 people, you would never find that trade that we just did, but it was good for all of us. So it's AI powered neo barter recommendation engine. That's what Neoswap is.
Yeah. If we have a minute, I'd like to dive into as well. Your solution, it writes the smart contract on the fly, right. Correct? Which
once we know the trade, that's right. Yeah. So Hamza probably did push the button. Let me see if he's done it. Let me ask him. Yeah. So he can say Hamza write contract. Whoever is put the room together can write the smart contract, and so he'll press a button. The contract will get written, and then once it's deployed, we can all sign it, and then the ownership gets reassigned. Yeah. And what I was going to say a second ago about the layer 2 of this is, first off, you have the parties, which are already useful. Oh, here we go. Here's the contract. But once you have people that have been in the rooms bidding on the same items, listing items, whatever, we can start to predict what trades you would like. And so once you've been doing these rooms for a while, you'll start to get emails that say, hey, we found some good trades for you. That you haven't even been in a room, you just get an email. And now you can click on that link and you can select, oh, these are good trades. And then if we get a trade that everyone likes, then we can write that contract as well. So it can be this constant engine that's running in the background on Stacks, just helping to rearrange the NFTs so everyone's benefiting all the time.
Yeah. And I know you've said in the past too, for those that have NFT projects, this is also very beneficial because if people are holding the assets that they like, you're not having people that are selling below the floor price. They're trying to move something at a sale because, you know, they might not like it as much. They have something that they do cherish and hold.
Yeah, that's right. That like suppose there's a mint, right? And some people are really happy. Well, they're not going to want to trade their items, or maybe they'll only sell them for really high amounts. Whereas other people may really like the collection. Actually, you know, one of the reasons I got into this, like with NFTs, is very early on when Stacks NFTs were first minting. I really was excited about a project, and then I got an NFT that I didn't really care for, even though I liked the project. And then I went to the trading channel. It was kind of hassle, and I thought, okay, this is a great application for these other tools that we've been developing, because then we were able to get, you know, you can get everybody together, trade the items in the collection. Those prices never hit the open market, and so they're not recorded. They don't affect the floor price, right? And then no people don't end up selling those items. So a hypothesis that we want to really investigate is what should happen. The prediction here would be that collections that really embrace Neoswap will have higher floor prices.
Yeah, yeah. And so for the NFT projects and Stacks that are coming out, are you guys working to do collaborations with them like after
Yeah.
mint day, or
Yes.
I'll let you finish that. Yeah.
Yeah, we've started that, and we've done one group event we did with African Illustrations. That's Shudu's group. That was a lot of fun. And in fact, we want to go one step before the mint. We'd like to do what are called smart mints, where you sell tickets to the mint, you let people bid on items before the mint, and then you hand out items at mint in such a way that people get items they like right off the bat. They don't end up having to trade them later at all. They just get the items they like from the start. So our technology can be used in that way as well.
Wow. Yeah. And for those that are building the NFT projects, they also might have a more successful mint day. You know, all of a sudden you're starting to really figure out the true value of each piece in the collection, as opposed to, you know, how much people value kind of the average piece in the collection.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And actually, you know, what you love might be very different from what I love, right? And so it might be the case that we would each pay 100 stacks for an item that we love. Whereas if we're going to mint, maybe we mint at 70, we both get something we don't like, but we happily would each pay 100 to get something we do like. And that could be true of everybody in the collection. So that makes more money for the NFT project.
Yeah. Yeah. It's truly a really, really useful product you have here. And, you know, I can kind of see the long-term vision as well. You know, it's something I think is going to be very impactful. For those folks that would like to learn more about you and Neoswap, where do you suggest them to go?
Probably the easiest thing is to follow neoswap_AI on Twitter, and follow me on Twitter. I'm John, I believe, _Ennis_BTC. And I would guess you put this in the show notes. So just look for, you know, John Ennis BTC on Twitter, or follow Neoswap_. We have a Discord channel, a Discord server that I can share a link to. So find me on Twitter, and I'll be happy to connect you with, you know, if you're an artist and you want to connect with our outreach team, happy to put you in touch. Or if you're an NFT enthusiast and you want to use the platform, we're doing trades 4 times a day right now. We have 4 parties, and all times Eastern here. So 7 a.m., 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. Eastern every day. We're doing those parties.
That's awesome. So yeah, people have an idea where they can try this out today. You know, I believe right now you guys are doing more lower stacks value NFTs, just because people are experimenting with it first, right? So
yeah, we're still smoothing out, you know, some kinks, wrinkles, you know. For example, the contract signing, there's some little details there. So yeah, we're pretending to stay under 200 stacks right now. So we're not listed very expensive, but eventually it'll be, you know, open. But we just want to make sure there's no scam, so we're keeping a cap on it for the time being.
Yeah. And for folks that are using it, you know, first time using a new platform, they probably don't want to sell their most valued possession, right? So, you know, they're getting some experience with it as well. But so going forward, what are some things in the future that people can be on the lookout for Neoswap? You guys have some timelines or whatnot?
Yeah, well, in the next few months, we'll be kind of polishing up our stack solution. Then we're going to be building on other chains. So we'll have a kind of multi-chain world where you could go and pick your chain. So you've got Ethereum, Solana, et cetera. What we're really interested in is cross-chain. We see that as could be very beneficial to stacks to draw value from, say, Ethereum and community by having trades that, bring that have both Ethereum and stacks NFTs in the same room. So standing marketplace. Our long-term vision is neo-barter everywhere. It's really a doubling of the world GDP. That's what we want in the long run. So that's what we're working on. But in the short term, much more efficient NFT trading.
Yep. And both problems are pain points for users. It's just going to take some people a little bit longer to see the kind of step function improvement that I think Neoswap will be able to provide to, like you said, the global economy. I do know that you have to hop off here.
Right.
I appreciate your time, and I know you're very, very busy. So thank you for taking your time out of your day and speaking with us.
Thank you, James. And I would just say, if anyone here is an investor or knows an investor who would be interested in this, we'll be starting our seed round in June. So contact me, please, about that. We're looking for people who see the big vision to join us on this journey.